Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome, everybody. I'm so glad to be with you today. Another wonderful show with Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. And listen, we have a very intriguing, amazing being with us today, Lindsay the Grateful. You cannot not want to be around someone who is in such gratitude that they call themselves Lindsay the Grateful. You want to experience that blessing just being in the energy of this show today with her. And she is definitely a up-and-coming rock star. She's already been up to some significant things and getting ready to just skyrocket in a world with more and more impact. So I'm grateful to have her here today, and we're going to do some energy scanning for her, intuitive business coaching, and you can gain yourself from this. So if you're up and rising yourself, the things I'll be saying to her, I imagine usually always is true, that'll resonate for so many of you, if not every single one of you at some level. Something I'll say to her will apply to you. It's going to raise everyone up together. And I'm so looking forward to it. And we're going to get right into it in just one moment. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today. Okay, so glad to be here with you today, Lindsay.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So today we're going to go ahead and be doing the energy scanning. And by the way, guys, you definitely want to learn more about Lindsay too, because she helps people to really make a relationship with those that have departed us. Like that's part of her work in the world. Don't you want to know more about that? Rather than just like someone's a medium and just kind of communicate some stuff to you, she actually helps you build a relationship with those on the other side. So we're about to get into that really soon. So let me go ahead and tell you more about Lindsay. Lindsay Reiling is a.ka. Lindsay the Grateful is a spirituality coach from sunny Western Canada. Her mission is to normalize spirituality. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience here on Earth. Thank God that's true. Sometimes a human experience is kind of rough, but it's sweet too. But right, we are spirit. Okay, we all have the ability to connect with spirit and with our loved ones who have passed. Through connecting with spirit, we can heal our wounds, traumas, losses, and live a healthful life in all aspects. Connecting to spirit connects us to something more, and with that comes a calming inner peace, confidence, and reassurance that we are more than our physical bodies. Lindsay is a spiritual coach and healer, Reiki master, and akashic records reader, master channeler, and mom of three. Wow, that's a beautiful, beautiful service delivery there. Mom, the reader, the channeler, everything, right? So that's cool. So Lindsay, as we're getting started today, usually a good place to get started before we just dive right into scanning and doing all the tuning in for you and your business and whatnot is for the audience to get to know something about you. And I've already done some of that prior to this time, but for the audience to get to know more about you. So yeah, could you tell people basically what you do in your business and anything you want to share about that and maybe what got you into doing what you do, like maybe a little bit of both?
Sounds good. Well, as of now, I'm a energy healer and do spirit guide readings. So the majority of my one-on-one work with clients is we do some energy healing and we do some readings of messages from their spirit guides. So we work together. I start off the sessions kind of just hearing from their guides and what they want to share with my client, which is always interesting. And like you said before in your intro, it always has something for myself in it, for the client, for the world as a whole. There'll be messages that will come through that I'll share online as well that have come through that have been really impactful. So I really like the idea that we normalize spirituality as well. You don't have to be a quote unquote hippie. You don't have to go to a psychic and look into a crystal ball. And there's so many stereotypes about that. And I really want to normalize it for people that this is a regular thing, that we're connecting with spirit, with the other side every day. And a lot of us just kind of wash it away, or we just make excuses for it, or we just call it coincidence. But anyone that I've ever talked to has always had some sort of moment in their life where something magical happened, whether it's a coincidence they can't explain, whether it's a health issue that suddenly got cured, or they know of somebody, or they were thinking of someone and then they called. Miracles can be large or small, but everyone has that connection. And once you open that up and we open up the conversation for everyone, it can really normalize it and say, you know what, it's not weird. It's natural for us to want to connect to something more that's out there. And it's not just a thing that you have to start dressing in scarves and jewelry and beads and all this. It's just a normal practice that we can incorporate, easy, simple tools that we can learn that can really help us in our day-to-day lives. So that's really what I hope to accomplish when I work with my clients, is giving them a sense of that connectedness, helping them to really feel into that and realize that there's something more, and that's okay. And that they're free to talk about anything. I always tell them, I say, nothing is off the table. Whatever you want to ask me, whatever you want to ask your guides, feel free to ask. You may not always get the answers that you're hoping for, and that's okay. But it's just anything and everything is on the table. And I want to just open it up to my clients, to the world, that it can be normal, it can be okay, it can be freeing. And it's done so much for my own healing. I lost a brother to leukemia when I was 13, he was 19. And that propelled me to not feel afraid of death, not be afraid to die, and also just to see that there's so much more. Once he passed away, my fear kind of disappeared, because he made it so obvious to me and my family that he was around us, and he started sending us messages and signs, and you could just feel him. So it was a really beautiful way to start off as an adolescent and just say, you know what, that there is more. And so it kind of started off a little bit of my spiritual journey just with that, going, wait, there is more, and there is some magic and miracles happening, and I can start to tune into that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I mean, because I know that whole incident, I mean, with your brother, like that really was one of the big ones. And and then life experiences brought you to more and more to healing and deepening and study and opening up to your own gifts, and realizing maybe things that you thought were considered at least stereotypes to you, like, hey, that's bizarre stuff, that's not real. And all of a sudden we start. So that's what I really loved about what you're talking about with that too, is that that's something I always I'm talking about as a trainer of the energy scanning that I'm doing today. It's like, you guys, we all have the ability to tune in. Lindsay's doing it, I'm doing it. Probably most everybody that's tuning in has at least the capacity to do it. I mean, it's there. It's a matter of opening up to that. And so, and then when you open up to that, is that it opens you up to that spiritual dimension, to a whole nother level. It's what happens. And people always say, well, when you're awake, it's like this and like that and everything, and you deepen, what's deepening, awakening? Well, connecting, getting attuned and connecting at this next level that Lindsay helps you with is all part of that. So anyway, so I really appreciate everything you're sharing. And it's just interesting that our pain often, or the pain we experience in the physical dimension here in our human life, is often what helps us to kind of access the deeper spiritual dimension. And I find that to be very fascinating, Lindsay. Of course, I'm sure you see a lot of that, not only for yourself, but for your clients. Is that right? A lot of people probably come to you when things are getting, pretty painful in some area.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and a lot of times I know for myself as well, we don't even realize what or where that pain is coming from either, because we have done so many things to try and not to feel that pain. And sometimes we're not even aware of it. And awareness and acknowledgement of it is such a huge piece. And it seems you hear that all the time, like, oh, just be aware and you got to be aware. And it sounds overly simplified, but when you actually tune into that feeling and just give it, it's like a little child. They just want to be seen. They want to be understood. And we're all the same. When we feel that somebody really sees us, then we are free to be open and be vulnerable and really just want to be around that presence when we can feel that we can really open up. And I think that's a big part of it, is acknowledging and being aware of that piece inside of us that's just saying, wait, I want to be seen, that I'm in here, and I want to crawl out and be seen and acknowledged, and just say, okay, you're there. All right, I see you, I feel you. And to give that space to your emotions and pain or shame is a big one that we just block, and we don't really look into it because we're trying so hard not to feel it, because it is such a triggering emotion for us. And sometimes we don't even know that that's what it is. And so what I try and do is we just sort of peel back the layers at the client's pace. And that's what I love about doing spirit guide readings, is that they know the pace that the client needs. They're not going to come storming in and reveal something that they don't or are not ready to be revealed. It's such a gentle, beautiful process. I think a lot of people have fears about what will happen when they open up, or what are my guides going to say? They're going to reveal my deepest, darkest secrets. And that's not the way that they are. They are so caring and so giving and loving that they will do it in such a gentle, beautiful way that some might surprise some messages, but it's always, it feels good. I always love seeing from the beginning when, and body language is such a huge thing, is that you see them and they come in and they're scared and they're kind of folded in on themselves, and then they slowly are opening up and they don't even realize it, but they're sitting taller, and you can just see that weight come off and just that lightness that comes out. And that's just being seen. Somebody has seen them and acknowledged them, and whatever comes through is meant to come through at that time. And I just love that. I always, if I'm nervous or something, I just say, well, whatever is going to come through me it really has nothing to do with me. I just speak the words that are coming through. I'm not going to force it or anything. It really doesn't have to do with me. It's just providing that middle ground, the middle woman, relaying the messages.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, it's we're doing the scanning today. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I mean, my mind always thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know nothing. And like, yeah, and like, yeah, but like, even after doing thousands of energy scans, I always tell my students, like, it's not that the voice, for me anyway, has ever gone away completely. It just gets smaller, just a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it just kind of like around. But you know the game, like, yeah, that's what the mind always says. It's probably totally wrong. And yeah, I see, like, you crashed in a green car when you're 3 years old, and then this happened, that happened, and part of my mind's thinking, where's this coming from? I don't know anything. How could I say that's true? And it's the old 3D mind, right? It's like,
Well,
okay,
and part of the
we know so much.
yeah, part of
Go ahead.
the normalization is as well. And I remember for years I would watch those mediumship shows and Teresa Caputo and all of those famous ones that had shows, and they were all seemingly born with the gift. As soon as they have all these childhood experiences and everything. I remember watching them and just saying, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I was born with that. Wouldn't that be so cool? I would love to be able to do that. And for years, I just thought, well, no, I wasn't born with it, so I can't do that. And what I really want to help people with as well is just discovering those gifts for themselves. Everybody is able to tap into those spiritual abilities. And I may not do it like Teresa or any of the John Edwards or whatever, any of those big spiritual types that we see in the media, but we all have our own way of doing it. And that I want everybody to understand that you don't have to be so obviously born with it. We are all born with our spiritual gifts, but just opening up people's minds to be like, yes, you can do this. If this is something that you're passionate about and you love and you're guided towards, you can do any of those spiritual types. It's not a hierarchy type thing. It's for everyone in their own way, in their own unique way. And so it's really fun to be able to see what people's abilities are and help them discover those, because they're going to do it a different way than I would, and what is natural for me or natural for you. So I really think that people need to understand that anyone can tap into spirit and anyone can tap into their spiritual gifts if they so choose, and if they're guided to, and they feel like they want to. It's not reserved for a select few.
Yeah. Totally.
But I want people to know, right? Because I think so many people just think, well, no, I can't do that. I'm not a psychic, I'm not a medium. And then we have these stereotypes in our minds of what that means. And there's so much, there is no black or white. It's all, there's so many different colors and things on the spectrum that we can discover. So I really want people to know that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was a decision I had to make when I was first starting to do all this. And people are like, whoa, I can't believe what you can do and everything. I'm like, but then I just started realizing, well, I mean, what I always realized was like, well, you guys can do it too, I guess. And then when I recognized, I'm like, well, I could either, do this egoic, like, look at me, what I can do, how powerful I am, and I know all these things. Or I can, which felt egoic at the time, or to say, no, listen, you've got the same thing, you've got that in you at least, and let's bring that out. And that's where I've done all that training with people over here. So anyway, so I appreciate everything you're saying. We're a very kindred spirit with all that stuff. So let's talk a little bit more in depth about where you are with things. Again, we're here to do some energy scanning today. So yeah, you get to experience some of that for yourself on the other side right today. So anyway, tell me a little bit about how you're feeling about things right now. Like, is there an area that you're feeling kind of challenged by? And I know you're really excited, you're starting to really grow your business. Like, are there areas you're feeling sort of challenged in the business aspect right now? And if so, like, where are those challenges kind of popping up for you right now?
I think that for me, I know when I was listening, I know I had mentioned that with you at one of your other podcasts I had listened to, and you were diving into some of your beliefs, and I was kind of following along doing the exercise as well. And I realized that I had some beliefs inside that were worried about or thinking about, if I grow too much, I'm going to be overwhelmed and overworked, and I won't be able to do all the things that I enjoy about my life right now. So I'm a stay-at-home mom otherwise, and do my business from home. And I travel with my kids for their sports, and they're in a lot of activities, and I love to be around them and with them and travel with them. And I realized that there was kind of a belief about growing too much and getting overwhelmed. And I felt like there was kind of like a bit of a block there, when really I'm just in the infancy stage, that I shouldn't really be worried about that. And I logically know that.
Right.
But I think there's some kind of resistance there about, well, if I go too hard, too fast, if I grow too much, I'm going to be overwhelmed, and then I'm not going to enjoy it, or I'm not going to do the best that I can because I'm really loving it. and the work that I do. I really enjoy it, and I feel so good after each session. Like I feel like I got a session out of it too because of the energy exchange. And so there's something there with belief.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Nice, nice. Yeah, totally. So okay, could grow too much. Yeah, I mean, and then sometimes when we have let's see, when the age of your kids are, I think 13, 12, and 8. I was taking notes the first time we talked. So yeah, those different ages, they're getting a little bit older, but yeah. So okay, well, yeah, I mean, because one of the things I like to share, this is such a great one because I know there's a number of people who resonate with that at so many levels. When we look at like when you have, and then you're married, so it's like you got, 4 beings just even right there, like, and I always say, uh, to some degree, for most everybody, our family members are sort of like clients. I mean, especially when we're sensitive,
Yeah.
like we tend to want to do whatever we can to support them, and so they start taking up energy bandwidth, like, even more so, like they're high-end clients, like, oh yeah, well, we gotta make sure they give them all the time they need, or whatever. And I'm hearing that specifically too for you. Like, everybody's a little bit different. Some people are more like, yeah, they're fine, they can manage, I'm here though, I'll guide them, and they don't concern themselves as much as maybe some of the rest of us. They're like, no, no, oh, no, I gotta get in there, and I get a little bit more of that. Like, I gotta get in there, and so with that, then I think that's a great like reflection too going into this business, because, and ramping it up ultimately more and more, is because I could see where potentially, even if it's not happening right now so much, but where that can bleed over into how we're with clients. Let me get in there. Let me get in there a little bit more. And I like to be that way with my clients too. So I get that. But then, if we do so much of that, then we can only serve so many people, which is fine if you charge like way more than enough. But otherwise, it could very easily drain us and even burn us out. So you may already be sensing like, man, if I put in like, and I start getting more and more client, eventually I just wear myself out. I'll end up being burnt out. Like, and that's the vibe I get on it, is a little bit more on, and then there's the concern of dropping balls, right? So I'm gonna drop balls with whatever I've got going on, like with my family. Oh my God, can never do that. And then if we're with clients, oh my God, that's a disgrace. Like, so there's like a lot of a sense of risk. The more and more I take on, the risk just starts to compound a lot. And so that's one level. I know there's always more levels, but that's the first level I just wanted to point out and talk about with you in the audience. So so what comes up for you when I say all that? I'm sure it probably resonates, but like, just let me know based on what I'm saying so far, what's coming up for you.
Yeah, like the when you said the high-end clients, I just thought the VIP clients, right? And that's true, because I do, my family does and will always come first.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, it's just finding that balance. And I think as a mom, you always feel like you kind of need to hold the space for everybody. You need to kind of, I'm the person who has to make sure that everyone's doing okay. Right. So I feel, you kind of feel like the head of the family in the emotional support aspect of it. And but there's a part of me that I really want to show my kids that I can, as a mom, that I want to pursue this because I'm passionate about it, and this is what I'm doing, and I can do it if I put my mind to it. So there's that piece to it as well. And they're very intrigued with what I do, which is always fun. Mm-hmm. And also, there was something else that I was going to say that was coming up. The financial part of it. I want to also feel like I'm contributing to the family as well. My husband has been the sole breadwinner, and I would love to be able to take a little pressure off of him as well and contribute in that way. But what I really want to do, and I think what all of our spiritual community does, is that we always want to give, and we have to sort of find a balance where it's reciprocal. We're not over giving, and we're giving 100%, but we're not giving to our own detriment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Totally. Yeah, I mean, the flip of that is, well, what if everything was served? And again, this is easy to get logically right away, and I'll do some tuning in here soon, but deeper tuning in. But like, it's more like we can get out of it. For those of us that don't have any problem giving, it should be more like receive, because when we're I mean, people say, well, giving's receiving, right? Everything's receiving in a way, but when we come from receiving first, you already know you're going to give. So it's like, but if we focus on receiving, then there's going to be a lightness to the flow of things, because you believe, like in your, again, the subconscious, whatever, you believe like the giving is coming in this regard. In your work, yeah, you get it, but like in this regard, like it comes from you somehow, right? Like coming from the personal I, right? And the truth is, it's coming, again, it's from the same place, really, ultimately, really coming from the same place, but really getting a recognition of that, and having complete trust in that, even with our precious loved ones, right? And our kids. Yeah, that can be really, really scary, at first. So it's like, okay, but wait a minute, this is my spiritual growth. This is part of what I'm supposed to be trusting more. They're being taken care of. I know how to send angels and guides to them and all that stuff. Hey, take care of them. I'm always here, but like, take care of them. Oh, guide me if I'm supposed to put more energy on them. Rather than the part of me that is kind of, I hate to label it, but just maybe compulsive or it's obsessive and all that. And, it is what it is. It's, I'm not going to make it wrong, but it gets to be too much. It's too heavy. We will say, well, but I like it, it makes me feel good. But then if it makes you feel so good, why is it so heavy then? So it's like, so like really letting more the lightness to lead the way and the guidance of like, okay, how much more can I let go rather than how much more should I give? Like, how much more am I willing to just let myself receiving, knowing that will be the key to fulfilling everything in this family. Like the more we can be clear about that for you, the audience, everything. And so I think this receiving thing is so key for empathic people that just feel like they want to give forever. Like I have getting through a head cold, at the time of this recording. And this morning, my wife Deb says, well, hey, I'm having a rough time with some stuff here. Can you do an energy clearing? I'm like, yep. And I got to go take care of myself first right now. And I'm sure we all have done that at times, hopefully, but it's tempting, right? As a giver to just feel like, sure, I'll drop everything instantly. Here we go. Right. And as we have to just keep remembering, nope, I got to serve myself first. And then from that place of receiving, let everything flow. So we're going to do a little bit more deeper dive tuning in real soon here, but I just want to start with some of these first steps first. And, some of it's not new information, but hey, these reminders are everything, right? So what's coming up for you as I say that, Lindsay?
Two things. One was surrender. So with the receiving part, the really just surrendering. And I kind of had a realization when you were talking that for me, it's not about me trying to control how much I grow or how I grow or how it all comes. It's just surrendering to what is coming to me and what feels right. And I always talk to my clients about surrender and being able to let go, and trust is a big one. Just trust that you're supported and trust that you're guided and looked out for. And I think that's a big piece for all of us. We have to constantly remind ourselves to surrender to what is and be open to just receive, like you said, and not try and control how much I'm growing or how it's playing out. Because for me, it always has been a good flow. And when I feel like I'm in a really good flow or alignment, things come easily and things just end up working out. And oh, if I'm double booked, suddenly somebody calls in and reschedules, and then it works out. And it's just kind of all of that, where it's just receiving and surrendering that control. I don't need to control the growth. It will grow at a pace that will work for me. And I know early on in my awakening, one of my friends who'd been kind of like a mentor to me, she said, if you ever get where you feel really overwhelmed and things are coming in fast to you and they're feeling a little bit too fast or too much at one time, she said, talk to your guides and just say, can you just slow it down a little bit? Can you ease back? This is a lot right now. And she said, make it a conversation and make it just flow. And I think that was an important lesson, and for one to remind myself of as well, that I have that if it ever gets to a point where it's not growing at the pace that I want, or like too fast, then I'm able to just say, okay, let's ease this back a little bit. There's always options. And then the second thing that came up was boundaries. And just being comfortable. And like you were talking about with your wife too, that's just setting a personal boundary, just saying, I would love to help you, but I just need to care for myself a little bit first, and then I'll be able to help you. And it's simple personal boundaries and business boundaries and family boundaries, and that are healthy and positive and that work for everyone. And just being able to communicate those, I think is really big.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, surrender is a huge piece that I love to talk about and everything. So yeah, totally. It's a pathway, because we've learned a lot about taking on and, bulldozing our way to success. But my teaching in part is I'm not like, hey, there's no place for this boom, let's make it happen stuff. There is for everybody to varying degrees maybe, but there is for spiritual entrepreneur types, there is this aspect of surrender that's so key to your awakening and also to your business growth. That's kind of all part of what this spiritual rock star thing's all about. So yeah, the surrender is huge. Again, I had to deal with it again, like with just having a little head cold, even like, man, I can't focus like normal. Well, it is what it is. You need to take care of yourself. Isn't that a good thing? Like even if you wanted to do more, like you're not really almost able to. So you may as well like enjoy where you are, because that won't last either. And like I know, like we all, our minds drive us nuts. Like, let's say you're doing well in your business, doesn't mind go nuts. Well, you could do better. You aren't high achieving enough. Like I ran into that sometimes. Levels in my mind. Again, it wasn't like this horrible noise in my head, but all the time it was there. It was man, you could do even better than this multi-six-figure business. Still better, more grow, and everything. Then you're never enough. You're never going to get there. That kind of program is there. Or even if you're just getting started, you're like, man, I've already put $100,000 into my education or more. And, trying all these marketers, I did every system there is. My business still isn't growing. I went to every healer. I did that. They go through the whole list. I did everything. I did everything I was supposed to do. It still hasn't worked. And Source is just like, yeah, well, you don't, we're here to show you that you are fully supplied. You are been taken care of every step along the way. It's only your mind judging where you think you are, having concepts about where you are that you suffer from. Like people, it's like if people can't pay a bill, or they ran way behind, or they're bankrupt, or they even had to go live in their car for a while. It happens to some people, spiritual teachers. I'm wishing that on anybody, by the way. I mean, but if it happens, it happens. And my point is that like Eckhart. I always talk about Eckhart Tolle, and like he ended up in a car for a while, right? And but without the concept of good, right, or wrong, so much more is available to us, not only in a moment-to-moment basis, but there are more possibilities in life for us when we can just, hey, we could, but we're not taught that so much. Oh, what if we just accept things as it is? That sounds crazy. We shouldn't be doing that. I can't accept anything. Like we have to make something else happen, right?
And then we wonder why we're never satisfied.
right, right, right. So that's kind of why we're in this work, right?
Yeah.
We both are wanting to move through that more and more ourselves, right? So because we got strong willpower and all that, it's in us. We would move them out, and with just I just make it happen. Man, I'm so tired though. I don't know if I want to keep doing it. I mean, I could do it, but
Yeah, I remember talking to a client about this last week actually, and I said, well, there's two ways that this can go, and they might both end up in the same way, but you can bullhead it and strong arm it your way through, and the way that you think it should be, and
right.
the way that you want, and you can, because we're taught hard work, hard work, hard work. You just have to work harder. You just have to do more. And we're praised for, wow, you're such a hard worker. And wow, you worked 100 hours this week. Wow, which is so crazy. And so I said, you can either strong arm it and do it the way that you think and go and dig yourself into the mud, but you might get to the same conclusion at the end, the outcome. Or you can be open to be like surrendering yourself, looking for the guidance and being open to different pathways and letting it flow to you. And that way is going to be a lot easier. You're not going to have to strong arm it. Opportunities will come. Things will just naturally come when you're in that state. And we've all, I think, had glimpses of that. It's just trying to hold on to that part and just continue to trust and surrender, and just keep surrendering, and just staying open. Because we rarely, how things work out when we're in that state are very rarely the way we think they're gonna turn out, or the way that the path that it would be for us. But you might end up getting to that same outcome, but which path would you rather take? Or maybe there's one maybe that's the outcome you think you want, but there's one that is actually out there that will be a lot better and better suited for you too.
Right.
That if you're open to it, then you'd be able to see it. But when we close ourselves off too, we can't even see it when it's right in front of us. Right. And so also the comparison piece, I remember hearing when you, and I know I suffer from that, is you look at somebody else and you think, oh, I want to be where they're at, or I should be at this point in my career, whatever, I should be where they are. And I know I have the talent to be there. I should be here. And I remember hearing it was some kind of famous actor, and I can't even remember who it was, but they essentially said, well, I got invited to this Oscar party that was, Vanity Fair. Well, I don't know, one of the parties. But he goes, when I got there, then it was, all the talk was about, oh, but this party. Right. So he was like, oh, wait, well, I didn't get invited to that party. And then he goes, then I talked to a person who went to that party, and they were like, well, I didn't get invited to Oprah's party. And they were like, even though we're seemingly at the top of our career and where we want to be, and we're admired by millions of people, we still have that compared. Well, I didn't get to the top party. And they were saying there's always another level. There's always another. So why do we keep comparing when, even when we get to a certain level, and we get to Oprah status, let's say, then she's like, but I'm not the Dalai Lama.
Whatever, yeah,
right, whatever it is. And there's always that. So no matter where you are in the scale, we just have to kind of let that comparison piece dissolve and just say, I'm right where I need to be. Right. So I think it's reminding ourselves of that too is a big part of it, because we can just get caught in that cycle, and it's so easy, and our culture just fosters that as well.
Yeah, I mean, so that's so true. And I've known people that are pretty noteworthy and whatnot, and they're going around saying in their head, I'm a loser, I'm nowhere near as famous as all these other people, I'm not that well known. And like, even though they are very well known, they have lots and lots of students and followers and everything, but man, if I haven't gotten on Oprah yet, then I must be a big loser. I mean, like, yeah, there's always that next level. Those are great stories. So yeah, so I know that, when I tune into your energy, I'll do a little bit of scanning now, if that's okay. So let's do a little more actual deeper dive scanning, particularly on all this here. So yeah, I mean, there is the part that, so you've got the opening in the crown chakra. You've got that mystical magician energy is what they're saying. So you've got the gateway to tune in, but also to transmute energies. As you open up, like energies, and then you're like energies get drawn in, and then they get beamed back up to source, and then they get cleansed, and then you're able to bring the energy back out. So some of this just happens automatically. Sometimes you may not be like doing that consciously, like, oh, let's do this and let's do that. Some of it may just be naturally happening, but there's a transmuter. So yeah, so you can take situations and that seem, chaotic or not well, and find the gold in them, and then help people to appreciate exactly where they are. So your name's perfect, like, look at here, you're missing the gold, it's right here, whatever the situation, you could see that and pinpoint that. Yeah, I mean, of course, like, we talked about it. So you specifically have a heart greater kind of energy around the head of the crown chakra. And yeah, I mean, I've definitely have dropped into that myself in the past, especially at times. So so yeah, that part that, well, geez, if I could have only done, maybe I could have done something, right? So whether it's, yeah, loss of people in your life, or what, maybe I could have done something, maybe I could have done something as a pattern. Um, yeah, if I could have done something. And so that would lead to guilt. Yeah, it's the shame, all that stuff. So that's a tough one, because there's a sense of truth about it, right? You look at it, you're like, because literally anything we do, when we review, upon review, you can always see, well, geez, I could have done something there, I could have done better. So but that's only in review. In the moment, we have to realize we're doing the best we can in the moment. So I say that's to your consciousness and everyone's. Remember, folks, when you're in the moment, in a sense, you always are doing exactly what you know to do in that moment. You're being as sincere as about it as you possibly can in that particular moment. And again, yeah, in review, always like, oh, but yeah, but in that moment, you're doing what you knew to do. And at some level, you probably believe that was for the highest or best for people listening in here. I don't think most of us are doing other things and other motives. So, but that's only in review. So the only way that can exist is within the confines of time space continuum, which in itself makes it very egoic. Like, well, I could always do better, and like, so it's like a very egoic structure, very false kind of belief system in a way. Now, if you're saying, well, geez, I learned that from that situation. If I find myself in that situation again, maybe I would do it differently. And then you got to realize it's only a maybe most of the times, because you don't even know what that moment might require, because you still have to be in the moment. And so you still don't know. The mind still can't control it, still doesn't know what you would do the next time. Maybe you would have done exactly the same thing the second time. You don't even know that might even be true. So that's important for everybody to hear, that maybe you are learning, or for sure, but that, you learn so that in the future, maybe you would do it differently. But the truth is, the real reason is to wake up more fully to what you're to understand right now in this moment. And that's what actually matters the most. Okay, let's see if crown chakra, yeah, there's a lot more we could say there, but I don't know, the third eye, actually energy feels a little, there's some tension here, incredibly intuitive, obviously, and you've got all these incredible gifts psychically and whatnot. But there's a heaviness there's a weariness, there's a sense of let's see what's going on here. Let's get deeply into my gifts, and share. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if I want to do this to that level though, like something about that with sharing with your gifts. Maybe I could be too powerful, maybe it could be too much, maybe it could get too heavy. All those things come up in the scanning here. So again, it's realizing if I can just relax, receive more deeply, let myself be replenished. Okay, that's part of it, just a weariness of energy. Okay, that I don't have to do something about everything I perceive as well. Well, if I perceive it now, what should I do about it? Okay, there's some energy there. The throat chakra, okay, some reluctance. Definitely a noose around the neck a little bit. It's lightened up a lot. But yeah, could I be hurt for sharing these things? The hands I see getting tied, that's a little unique. I don't always get that one at all. Hands being tied. Okay. So everything kind of comes to the state of I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. And there's an energy, a kind of energy idea of no, we think you got it wrong. Let's boil you in oil or something. You're like, yeah, but I'm innocent, but I'm innocent. So there's this part of you that that understands in your heart, like we're all innocent. I'm innocent. No one's got it wrong. So that's your teaching. That's part of your big message in the world. So bringing that more through the throat chakra would be very liberating for you. So that's a tidbit I have for you in your messaging and business. This is a big message for everybody right now. You're one of the big teachers for that. Then the heart chakra. Yeah, I think there is some putting on the cloak of invisibility at times. Don't see me, don't see me. Blend in a bit, yeah, you'll shine and you'll share, but then it's like, whoa, okay, maybe just blend in a little bit. It's almost like the wolves on the door, don't show yourself too much, so they'll find you. Let's see. So dark energies, concerns, okay. Let's see. Okay, what's what they're saying about that. Okay. Yeah, there's a transmutation of, you know, uh that song Black is Back is coming to me. Back in Black is the actual song, but Black is Back. So let's see what's that. Yeah, it's really embracing this sense of chaos, like a dense, chaotic but powerful dynamic energy that lives inside of you. And feeling that synergize with your yin energy, your heart energy, realizing there's like a lot of dynamic energy that wants to come through you. So when the dark energy comes in, it's just saying, hey, remember the dynamic energy. Don't, just be in the light and just, mix it up here. Let's mix things up here in the physical. I'm seeing a reminder on that. So I don't know, Back in Black, baby, or whatever. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. Power center, some congestion. Let's see. So I was saying it wants to, wants to go to a higher level of actualization, a higher octave of light and vibration. Okay, it wants to connect with your heart more. Okay, you don't want to be overbearing on people. You don't want to impose your will on someone else. You want other people to be completely sovereign. That's beautiful. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you have a power of pushing people though, so it's not like something you don't want to do so much necessarily, and you judge yourself for. But there is a part that wants to push people and shake people sometimes, and they're saying that that's okay. Be willing to push and shake them some. That whether it's 10 or 20% of the time, you may not need to use a lot, but to be willing to do that more. And so that's a message from there. Let's see this sacral chakra. Okay. All right. So I just get a sense of it's almost like classical music almost a little bit. Like I see something with that. Yeah. What is that instrument? I'm not sure, like a stringed instrument. Um, so mm, I just kind of get this music as your muse or something. Classical music really comes in for some reason. I'm hearing like the Moonlight Sonata coming through right now. So that connecting with that deep emotion and the pain and letting that be the creative muse is really powerful for you. Like really pouring your soul out from this emotional energy is really coming up for me in that space. It's really, really, really powerful, very beautiful. So this is where some, because energy is stuck there, otherwise it feels like it wants to move. Okay, let's see, root chakra. So it could be like through writing and stuff like that. Okay, root chakra. First message is just take me back home. Okay. Okay. Uh, they show me like the Wizard of Oz with the the witch character, right? And the witch, I forget her name in the beginning of the movie, but the lady, right? Grabbing the dog, putting it in the basket. You're like, that's so sad. Why do people do that? And it's so horrible. I hate this world. Like, that's the root chakra saying anyway. And just be nice. Come on, you know. Um, so this is one of your big, you know, paths in this life is to come to peace with the sense of darkness in this world, in this dimension, to come to peace with it within yourself, within the sense of the world, and coming to peace with that. Let's see if there's anything more, because the energy really drops in and grounds when I say that. The pain actually helps to drive the ascension. So even if it's, you know, physical pain, but yeah, also like emotional, mental, you know, suffering, pain, or whatever, however we want to label it, the big embrace, like we were talking earlier, the big embrace of this and the transmutation of that then through the embrace for you and for your tribe is a huge factor. Let's see if I get anything else to share around what came through earlier with concerns with growth. I hear no, I hear what we've shared already is enough or sufficient at the moment, at least. So let's pause. The one thing that does come to my mind to share on that though is, you know, just being open, you know, open to the container of how things just want to be from the surrendered space in your business, like from a surrendered space and the connection with presence. Therefore, that's why we say surrender so much in these, because it gets us into the presence. It gets you into your deeper coherence. It's not that it's more powerful. People think, well, that means you're weak, you know, the surrender idea, right? You're weak, you're a lightweight, you're a cupcake or whatever. I don't know. Let's say the guys or whatever, you're a cupcake or whatever. I don't know. So, but yeah, no, it's a very powerful thing to be able to just be with what the really deeper truth is. And then, okay, it looks like I'm going to only have 5 clients a year. I mean, if that were true, to just embrace that. Or no, I have 5,000 clients a year, but it feels like it would happen like this. And just start putting your attention to it and opening up the energy container, tuning into it, asking about these things and letting the energy frequencies drop in, and do it the easy way. You know, like I always say, do it the easy way. Let the energy become in. It will play itself out from that space then. So kind of along the lines that we're talking about more earlier, but it's just a little more explanation. And I think I'll stop there, pause so you can reflect, share a few things about what came through, what your thoughts and feelings are about what was coming through, and kind of go from there.
Thank you for that. That was really great. And really just interesting, right? Like you never, it's always, there's always a little bit of expected and a little bit of unexpected when you do those types of things, right? So it's always interesting. So yeah, fear of being seen too much and blending in. I've always kind of liked to be like, you know what, anonymous. That's the word I'm looking for. Like when you can go to the grocery store and not know anyone and not talk to anyone. I do like that. And so, but also I also like to put myself out there as well. And I'm learning to do that more and more and be okay with that. Mm-hmm. And embracing that part of it as well, because I do have a yearning to go bigger and with my message and with what I do. So I related to that for sure. Black is back was very interesting. Just in like when you said just really embracing that there is that dark energy or dark stuff that comes up in all of us, but just embracing it, and it just made me feel like looking at it not as a bad thing, but as a good thing that comes up, and be able to share. When you said, where did I write it down? Something about the pain. Pain drives ascension. It's like our pain can help other people. And the stuff that we've gone through really drives us to actualize more and become more of who we really are when we really are willing to open up to that and really dive into it. I heard a quote from Kyle Gray, and he had said that he had a message from the angels come through to him, and it was about the angels had said, he had asked the angels something about, how do I give more to the world? What else can I do when he's seeing the pandemic and the suffering and everything? And they said, go into the darkness in yourself and give it light. So the giving light to yourself and the shadows and dark sides of ourselves brings light to the world. And I thought, wow, we always feel like we're just, it's just me and I'm insignificant and there's so, or I could do more, you kind of said that too, that feeling. And it's like just looking into those pieces of ourselves is doing more than we think. And we're bringing more light to the world just by opening up to ourselves and being willing to look at those things and acknowledge them and be able to go there. I did like the idea of the music and the really tapping into, being willing to really tap into that emotion and energy there, to be able to feel again some of those things that have come up, and then be able to relate to a lot more and be able to speak to other people's pain as well and relate to them on that level. And like we were talking about before, being seen, sometimes just a few words of acknowledgement and validation to somebody else in that state is all that's needed. So that was very powerful as well. And I laughed at it's okay to push sometimes, to push people, because I do really have, like, I don't want to push people too much, and I want to be respectful, and I want to I don't want to push them past where I perceive them to be, but knowing that it's okay to do that a little bit, and that will help some people when I feel guided to do so, that it's okay.
Right.
So yeah. So that was, so all of that was very interesting, and lots of powerful messages in there. So thank you.
Sure thing. Yeah. It was fun to share that with you, everything that's coming through. And I feel like, there's been some really great, amazing things that have come through this time together. So I think that's the synergy of you being a channel and being willing to receive today and share wisdom yourself today. And just the flow of this show has been amazing. And I'm really grateful for that. And I feel this can spur growth, evolution, whatever, everything, for everyone, including me and you and all our audience members. So I feel it's so beautiful. And it's true what you said earlier. It's like, often as we're giving of our work, we feel like we've gained at least as much as, what the person is on the other side is getting. And I think sometimes we don't realize, but that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to feel that way. I used to judge that early in my career. Oh my God, I'm just having a great time, loving myself, doing my thing. And people are throwing all this money at me. And how's that fair? You're supposed to earn it, I thought. And, and like, it's like, no, no, that's the best. That's the way it's on, that's when you're really in your zone, when you're in your purposeful place and, doing your, that's the way it's meant to be, so to speak. So anyway, so just wanted to share that today too. Any last thoughts on anything right at this moment in time? Any last quick questions or anything, Lindsay, as we start to wrap up today?
Just, I'm grateful for you giving me your time and energy. And I know with reciprocity always comes up and has been a theme lately for me as well. And I do feel a beautiful energy exchange that was reciprocal, like you were mentioning as well. So I think that's beautiful. And also what came up was when you were talking about give, and all of that was, I've had people tell me, oh, if you do this work, you'll be exhausted after you do this. And then I do it and I'm like, actually, I feel like I could just go run a marathon right now. I feel so energized. And then it's like, wait a second, I don't need to feel exhausted in order to, have effectively done what I wanted to do or anything like that. So making sure, and to your audience as well, those relationships and those people that are around us where you feel like there's an equal energy exchange are the ones that we want to hang on to tightly and that we want to surround ourselves with, and acknowledging when there is a imbalance between energy and whether you're giving without really even knowing you're giving, or whether you're taking it off of somebody else and putting it on yourself. Is being able to acknowledge that, I think is a really big piece, and understanding the energy there I know has been very powerful for my clients to understand the energy and just kind of take that in and just notice it and be curious about it. And that's what I love about spirituality, is there's so much to be curious about. And so having fun with it in that respect and being like, interesting. Oh, I wonder about this, and bringing that childlike wonder back is what got me into spirituality as well, and I think keeps us in it and brings more people into it as well. And I think that's a big piece to it as well. But I did want to mention to your guests as well that I do group energy healing, and so any of your listeners that would be interested in coming to a group energy healing, I love to have them, and it's on Zoom. And I love to say can have your video off, you can have your sound off, and just be able and willing to receive and have an open mind. And it is free to any of your guests who would like to try it. I do monthly group energy healings, and it's my way of being able to give back and kind of show people what it's all about, because I'm sure you know as well, a lot of people, when you say energy healing, it's very confusing, and sometimes it can be hard to explain to somebody what that is and what that feels like. And so what I like to do is offer it for free to the first time you've ever come to it, and to join in on Zoom and just see what it's all about and feel it for yourself, and let me give you some good vibes and good energy and set you on your path. And so on my Facebook page, Lindsay the Grateful is usually where all the events are. And like I said, free for any of your audience that would like to attend. And it's over Zoom, nice and easy. It's a gentle introduction for anyone who's new to this type of work.
Nice. So we'll go ahead and we're going to put some links in the show notes for sure. But are there any other what are the places they can go to connect with you further then that you'd like to tell them about right now?
Yeah, that would be great. Facebook and Instagram is Lindsay the Grateful. I put my events and things that I'm doing on there. And my website is lindsayreiling.com. And it has some books and services and things on there that I do. And every Wednesday at 11:11 Mountain Standard Time, I do what's called Woo Woo Wednesday. And so I have a quick Facebook Live where whatever topic comes to me that day or I feel needs to be said, I talk about spiritual tools and tricks and tips that I've learned and has worked well for me, and just explain about that. And I'm all about the simple, effective tools. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a million-step process. It can be little, simple, effective tools that we can use in our everyday life. And so I do my Woo Wednesdays on Facebook at 11:11 Mountain Standard. And I will be having a workshop come up called Connecting with Spirit. And that will be about, it's a 2-day online immersive energy workshop where we learn to connect with our loved ones who have passed. And we really learn how to ask for signs, how to receive messages, how to interpret messages, and how to really feel the energy of your loved ones and help you heal and help you feel safe and reassured and at peace, knowing your loved ones are with you and are around you, and be able to understand that in your own way and figure out for yourself your personalized way of how you receive those messages. And so that's coming up at the end of April, that workshop, and that will be on my Facebook page for sure.
Great. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show, so I'm glad we got that promo, and so that people are aware of where to check that out more. So, so check all that out, and if people want to check me out, you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com, and there's a free meditate, make money meditation. So open up your energies, download the frequencies that allow you to be magnetic in the deeper space, turns on the energies that really are wanting to be turned on, and to ground and land inside you, and get into an inquiry process that helps you more so get the energy in that you want, but also give you some mental clarity, which is very powerful as well. So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. Get your free meditate, make money meditation. People are making money just meditating, listening to my meditation. So check it out. And the other thing would be, if you want an energy scan consultation with me, you can there is an application on the actual website, or you can feel free to reach out to me and just let me know your situation, that you'd love an energy scan consultation, or maybe you want to be on a show with me like this. Feel free to reach out to me on social media, DM me, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we can chat from there, and no pressure. So, but anyway, so looking forward to connecting more with all of you. And Lindsay, as we're beginning to just finalize everything here, any last words for the audience?
My last words would be surrender, trust, and spread the light that is you. And you are able to do whatever you so choose, and to listen to the guidance that comes in magical ways.
Nice. Perfect. Yes. And so it is. All right. What a wonderful energy that you bring, Lindsay. So I think everybody will be very blessed to follow up with you for sure. So, all right. So thank you for being on as a guest today. I appreciate you. And thank you to everyone that's been listening in. And keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocking here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. All right. Until the next time, everyone. Goodbye for now. Listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.